Let's go. This is Leilui Nishmat Stam Bat Yael. So yesterday, Idan and Eitan did Shiur on Masechet Sanhedrin.
Mazal Tov.
Mazal Tov. And it was very busy. So I'm going to tell you what I had in mind about this Masechta. Something very interesting. So in Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph, it says the following. I'll read in Hebrew, then I'll translate into English. כל המאבד נפש אחת מישראל כאילו איבד עולם מלא, וכל המקיים נפש אחת מישראל כאילו קיים עולם מלא. He who חס ושלום kills or caused the death of a Jew is like he lost the whole entire world, and he who saves a Jew like he saves the whole entire world. That's a very famous quote. So that statement brings a very deep philosophical question, very deep question. How is it possible that one person is going to compare as a whole entire world? I mean, from a mathematical point of view, if there are billions of people, I don't know how many billions, I don't know, 8 billion people in the world, if there are billions of people in the world, right? So it's a very, very small percentage that a person is. How can you tell me that each one is considered to be like a whole entire world? How is it possible? However, here there is a very deep idea, a very fundamental idea in what we call Machshavat Israel, in what we call Jewish thought or Jewish outlook on life. And that's, by the way, one of the reasons that we'll be doing here. We are trying, and we'll see how this fits together with making the askara for your mother, Aliyah Shalom. Now, in Judaism, human, is not just an individual in the majority of all, but rather in Judaism, every person is an entity with an endless value to it as its own. Each one is endless potential. I mean, if you're going to look at this the way we are, right, in terms of the cells and the atoms and how the atoms, are, and the electrons around it, and so on and so forth. I mean, to me, it seems like we are like a universe. Because if you're going to compare the atom and and all these particles to the stars, it's almost like a whole solar system. And then we have the molecules that are just like galaxies and so on and so forth. Just like the universe. So realizing that every person has really endless potential as he is by himself, that is a very, very important part of what it is being a Jew. The Rambam in Halachot Shuvah, Perek Gimel, Halacha Daled, right, explains that a moral world, or in a moral world, works in such a way that every person should see himself and the whole entire world as on a scale. That what the Rambam says is that you need to value the world and yourself all the time at 50-50. Not only any action that I do will determine my own fate, but every action that I do could determines the world's fate. So it's like a scale within a scale. And that is a tremendous point that the Rambam is telling us to what level we should be aware of what we're doing. And how do we do things, and why do we do things? In other words, if we're going to look at this way, what the Rambam is trying to tell us, that every person has endless influence on the whole entire world. Even if on a superficial level, it seems like you are only a drop in the ocean, as they say, right? You are one person among billions, and if you take it into the stars and whatever the galaxies that are, they're like, I don't know how many trillions of galaxies, not stars, galaxies out there in the universe of what the universe, and only the universe in which we could see. There's a lot of parts of the universe in which we cannot see. So, realizing that you could determine the fate of the whole entire, not world, the whole entire universe. It's you and me. Our actions count for something. So all of a sudden you're going to realize that the meaning of life is not determined only by quantity, but the internal meaning of every action that we do, the choice that we make on every action that we do. People tell me, well, Rabbi, Rabotai, money is important. But money is not a goal. Listen, David, money is not a goal. Money is an instrument to reach your goals. Because if your goal is money, you're going to have meaningless life. Your life will be worth nothing because you're never going to achieve anything in your life, including your money. And if you're going to tell me I got to enjoy life and that's why I'm making money, you're not going to enjoy life. If God will give you now $100 million, what are you going to do with it to justify that? The Gemara tells us that if a person sees that he all of a sudden became rich very quickly, he should be very, very concerned. Very concerned. Why? Because he's getting paid for his chuyot now and nine olam haba. You can't get paid twice. One needs to be very careful with that. There's a very famous story in the Gemara. This rabbi was sitting on at home, famous story, and his wife was telling him, "Listen, you're learning, you're a big rabbi, but look, we don't have anything. We don't have anything." So he said to her, "What do you want me to do?" She said, "Pray that God will give us something." Hey, you start praying, all of a sudden, a leg of a table came of gold down. And she said, "Wow, that's amazing." He said to her, "Yeah, you're right, it's amazing, but you should know on the table that we go to have in Olam Haba, there's only 3 legs, no 4 legs." She said to him, "Tell him to take it back. I don't want it." And he took it back. The Gemara says there was a bigger miracle that they were able to take it back. Not only they came down. Abatai, if a person has a lot of money, you need to be able to justify what are you going to do with this money. Guys, bring chairs. Are you going to do something good with it, or are you going to just go to look what happened in the Dominican Republic. They went to a club, the whole roof fell down. What are you going to do with your money? You're going to go on vacation? Okay, fine. You're going to go vacation. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to take this money and now see yourself as a vehicle of instrument of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring good to this world? Are you going to feed poor people? Baruch Hashem, Rabotai, I'm going to tell you this. This year, our small yeshiva, our small group of people, together, we were able to raise close to $12,000 on Pesach only to give to poor people, so people will have money. $12,000. I wish we had the ability to put another 0. I wish. Or maybe 2. But this shows you the power that if we want to do something, how much we can, how much of a difference we can make in people's life. And this is the power. You don't have to be a big millionaire to make a difference in somebody's life. So we got to be very careful. We got to be very careful. Our life, we need to make sure that there is meaning. The reason, why are you alive? Why did you come here? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu put you in this world? Why your father and your mother had to go through whatever they had to go through to bring you here? How about your grandparents? How about your great-grandparents? How about everybody that came from your family before this point? What did they have to sacrifice that you'll be here today? For what? For you to go to Punta Cana, or to go to, what is it, Acapulco, or whatever people go to, Turks and Caicos. This is what they had to sacrifice for you to do. This is selfish. If we will be able to reach out to our families that are in Shamayim and ask them, what should I do? You'll get a totally different answer than what we're telling ourselves. I can tell you that for sure. It will start with be ish emet, be truthful people. Put meaning in your life. Somebody said to me, is it hard to clean for Pesach and to do all these things? I said, I do it with a smile on my face. I'm celebrating the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me a zchut to prepare for Pesach. A zchut. So I don't complain for cleaning. I love it. I do it with all my heart. So this person said to me, but it's very expensive. You're going to have people. I say, yeah, Baruch Hashem, some of my kids. Now all my kids are coming over, but some of my kids coming over. We're having somebody else from the neighborhood that doesn't have a place coming to us, and so on and so forth. And they said, how do you do that? I said, listen, I feel so lucky. Baruch Hashem, I have children that are children getting along with each other. They care for each other. They're coming to care for my wife and I. Everything is a plus. Everything is a plus. The way you guys care for your mother, Alei Shalom, by keeping the memory, and so on and so forth. This is the biggest zchut you could do to your parents. This is the biggest zchut you could do while they're alive, and even after they pass away. To show that you care about one another, care about them. Acknowledge when we come today and we're sitting down and eating for Leilui Nishmat Istam Bat Yael. This is not just like a celebration of get together. We don't need this to get together, but it's rather a celebration to show also that everything that they did, we appreciate. And that's a very big lesson that we have to remember. It says in the Gemara also, in Masechet Daf Tzadik Chet, Amud Aleph. You're off today. It says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, En bein David ba ela bedor shekulo chayav or bedor shekulo zakai. Mashiach is not going to come unless the generation is all tzaddikim or chas v'shalom, all rashaim. I'm not quite sure. We have to see what it means. By the way, there's Gemara over there in Tzadik Zayin and Tzadik Chet. When you read this Gemara, you read this Dapim, you're saying, oh my goodness, this is exactly what is happening today. Description, line by line, is exactly what's happening today. So that's why we get even more optimistic about something that maybe something is good is coming our way, Baruch Hashem. Maybe the true Geulah will come. So the Gemara over there, according to Rabbi Yochanan, the Gemara gives us two different opposing conditions where the Geulah, redemption, can come. Either the generation is all Zakai, everybody is doing the right thing, and that is a generation that they all learn Torah, they all do Maasim Tovim, they do good deeds, and so on and so forth. Or when the generation is Kulo Chayav, in other words, they're in big trouble. They are in a very low level in terms of morality, and spiritual condition is very low. So either this or this. We could recognize from here, we can understand another deep idea, a fundamental idea in Judaism from this Gemara, that the Geulah, the redemption, is not necessarily only depends on the amount of zchuyot. That's why I didn't feel so comfortable using the word rashaim. It's not necessarily on how much zchuyot, or the level of the zchuyot of the generation, but rather even more so by the awareness of what situation they are. Where are they holding? When we say the generation Kulo Zakai, he gets the Geula because of his actions. They do good things. They care about one another. Rabotai, I'm going to tell you something. I know many people are not going to agree with me, but it's nothing new to me. I always speak from my heart. I don't speak to get credits. I don't get this, they say brownie points. I speak from my heart. How can you, not you of course, tell me that you care about Am Yisrael, you're learning Torah, and you could tell me that it's okay for another Jew to go to the army and you're not going to help? How? How? Is it good for somebody else's child to chas v'shalom die? This is not just a war that we have the luxury because we want to get more territory. This is a survival mode. In a survival mode, at the time of the Torah, anybody 20 to 50 used to go to the army. Call yotzei tzava. Who should be exempt? That's what the Torah says. You married a woman within the next year, the first year, out. You build a house, out. You build a thing, out. But everybody else, go to the word. This is milchemet mitzvah. This is a sakana for our nefesh.
What Hiskiyahu HaMelech also yesterday they said everybody was learning Torah and Hashem saved them. So we need also that.
But we need right now we don't have a king like Hiskiyahu, and we are not at the level that that's a generation that everybody was zakai, and yet together with that, with Hiskiyahu, there's one thing that they miss from doing. Yes, what we spoke about yesterday, that you forgot. I mean, everybody forgot. What didn't they do? They didn't say Hallel. They didn't say Hallel to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If they would have said Hallel to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we would not be here today. We would all be here in Israel. Mashiach would have come. Chizkiyahu with the Mashiach. That would be the end of it. They didn't say Hallel. So if you learn Torah so much, why did you say Hallel? Don't get into politics, into Am Yisrael. Brother against brothers, no. I don't like, for example, when people say, oh, Hasidim. The Hasidim came. They're not Hasidim. I'm sorry, they're not Hasidim. They are my brothers. When we say they're Hasidis, they're this, we put people into groups. We should see ourselves as one group, one nation. These are brothers from Brooklyn that come to learn with us. That's the way I look at it. The same thing applies to Pesach. Baruch Hashem, Hashem give us all beracha. We're going to sit down on Pesach, look at the family, eat whatever we eat, right? Did we think about those who don't have anything to eat? What did we do from ourselves to give those who don't have? Do we invite somebody who doesn't have anything? Why are you sitting alone? Why don't you come to my house? Come, invite a guest, somebody for your house for Pesach. How can we sit at a table and eat and drink and be happy knowing that our neighbor or a friend or some relative, even if we don't like him, is alone? Even if we don't like, he's alone. After all, isn't he my brother? We need to think about this. That's what we are talking about. That is not about, we do the mitzvot, we clean for Pesach, we scrub, we clean, everything perfect. Lefi halacha plus lefi halacha. Not only lefi halacha plus. But one thing we were missing. The moral, the value of not leaving a Jew alone on Pesach. We shouldn't leave anybody alone. You don't like him, it's okay. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you, open this thing, open your heart. If you want to get a lot of bracha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it doesn't mean to do overtime or to talk on the phone when you learn in yeshiva. You want bracha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Start caring, start sharing. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, oh, this guy is worth it, I'm going to give him. Look, he's doing something, I'm going to give him. So, but when we said the door is kulo chayav, in other words, They don't have much zchuyot. Why is the Geulah going to come? That's why the word Rashaim, that's not correct. Why the Geulah is going to come to a generation, the Shekulo Chayav? Because they would say, listen, we know we're not perfect. But at this point, we have nobody to rely on. Only on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Only on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Only on that state, when you realize that the only one you could rely on is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, only then the Geulah will come. You could be Chas v'Shalom, everybody Rashaim, and Geulah is not going to come. The Gemara was not wrong. The Gemara is very right. We just don't understand it. We make excuses so it could continue, make us feel comfortable without doing anything. We'll make excuses, like when in science you are wrong, and then somebody proves you to you're wrong. I forgot who was it. There was a guy, a few thousand, 1,000, 1,500 years ago, whatever, that thought he was looking at the sky. He was looking at the sky, and he thought that the stars are going. The Earth is in the center, and the star is going like this, making a loop and going backwards and doing all. And well, he was right, but he was wrong because he was looking at the stars. Came Copernicus and figure out that it's different. However, the ability to predict where we're going to see every star was better on the old system than the new system. Better on the old system than the new system. Why? Because Copernicus also made a mistake. Because Copernicus thought that everything is going in circles. And it wasn't really circles. The pattern of the stars is elliptical. And that's why it was off. But in order to justify it, so they start making excuses. And when you start making excuses, you're never going to find where you made the error. The same thing with us. When we justify what we do by making excuses, we're never going to be able to deal with the problem and to actually fix it and to bring the Geulah. The message for us is that the Geulah, redemption, is not far from us, and any point is very, very close to us. If we should strive to be Zakaim, each one of us should really, pick up the act a little bit, do a little better, be more careful. So we'll be all Zakaim. Okay, so that's very good. That's terrific. However, if reality seems very, very difficult, look right now, things are hard, and who knows what's going to be with the world, and so on and so forth. Rabotai, there's still hope. There is still hope. Because understanding, or realizing what I don't have from the low part that we're at could really bring us the biggest growth. Because I need to realize where I am. The same thing. A person that would say when the person Chas v'Shalom is an alcoholic, right? You cannot help him. You can tell him it's bad. He'll say, yes, I know it's bad, but I like to drink or I like to smoke. I like to. The first step in fixing it is admitting that you have a problem. So when they go to this meeting, to the AA meeting, they say, hello, my name is whatever, and I'm an alcoholic. First of all, you got to admit that you have a problem. We need to admit that we have a problem. We are working in the future, going on and on and on and on, and nothing happens. Mashiach is not here. Do we ever ask why? It's because you're going to say, what? We don't do enough mitzvot? I just showed you that it's not about this. It's because we don't realize that the real redemption should come from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We rely on this president, on that president, on this prime minister, and this rabbi, and that rabbi, and so you don't rely on anything. Yeshaya, Hanavi, said, there's going to be a day in which I will remove from you called mish'anu mish'ana. I'm going to remove from you any cane or any support that you have. Why? So you could realize that I am the only one who is in charge. You should rely on, not anybody else. I love it when I sometimes see clips of, you tell me I'm crazy, but hey, you're not going to be the first one. clips of like football games in Israel. You know, soccer games, what you call football, right? One of the first songs that they start is what? Anachnu ma'aminim bnei ma'aminim. In a football match, people scream, we are believers, the children of believers, and we don't have anybody to rely on besides God in the heavens. For me, it's a wonderful thing. I become very happy when I hear 20, 30,000 people scream this at the top of the lungs. I said, that will bring the Yeshua. Sometimes more than sitting down and pretending you're a holy man. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that. Now, this idea brings us to a very deep understanding about what we call din u'mishpat, judgment, rules, which is a very main topic in Masechet Sanhedrin that those guys finish, Eitan and Idan. The true din, the true law, is not only external. It's not only external, but rather is a process that every person judges himself and judges his place in the world. What is your place in the world? In other words, why are you here? Are your actions justify you being here? This is the true din that is really internal. A person carries an endless responsibility because his decisions are not only limited to his own personal life. His decisions have effect on his children, his grandchildren, until the end of time. If a person, chas v'shalom, decides he has two girls to marry, two women to marry, he can make a choice. He can go with Sarah, nice Jewish girl, or he can go with, I don't know, Christina, blonde. What'd you say? I said Christina, okay? Blonde, beautiful, but she's not Jewish. You make a choice. You make a choice. Because if you're going to go with Sarah, you might have a son that maybe he is the Mashiach. Maybe he's going to be the next Rav Ovadia. Maybe he's going to be the next Rav Moshe Feinstein. However, if you decide to go with Christina, c'est fini. Finish. Finish. All these children that could have come from you, you now made sure they're not coming. Because right now, those children are not going to be Jewish. Your decisions carry its weight through the end of time. This is how careful we have to be with our decision, with our actions. In other words, the decisions that we make, even words that we say, echo until the end of the universe. Echo in through whole reality. It's very important. So when we finish this Masechta, as those guys finish, we understand that every moment, that's why Eitan said yesterday, every moment, every choice that you make counts. Because if you skip a day, ta'azvenu yom, ya'azveka yomayim. You leave it one day, it would leave you for 2 days. You know why? Idan, tell us why. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you why. Idan said something beautiful. He says, Maseh, what do you mean you're going to leave him in a day and he's going to leave you 2 days? How is it possible? It's very simple, Rabotai. If I decide to go with Idan, we're walking together, so we're walking together, hand in hand. We are always going in the same direction. When I decided not to learn Torah, is going this way. I decided not to learn Torah, I'm going that way. The distance that Torah keeps on going, and I'm going in 1 day, it's 2 days. 2 days becomes 4 days, and so on and so forth. You didn't learn Torah for a month, you went away 60 days apart. You can catch it up afterwards. This is the example. This is the choice that we make every single day to come and learn. And we have to remember that every single choice that we make is olam umlo, a whole entire world. And our responsibility is not only for ourselves, our responsibility is what we call tikkun olam, to fix this world. So what we are doing here today is finishing what your mother, Alea Shalom, could have but didn't. So we take the job that she did and we bring it on ourselves, and we do so, Rabotai, with love. We do it with appreciation, because we appreciate what this person had done to us, what they had to sacrifice so we could be here today, so we could keep a Pesach, so we could be with our families. This is the way we say thank you. So I want to wish, first of all, everybody the neshama should have ilui, and it should go to Gan Eden Elyon. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should all have, first of all, a Shabbat Shalom, and Chag Kasher, ve'me'od sameach, and a very happy Pesach to all of us. Amen.